All right, we are recording. Welcome everybody to the Heat Team call on the first and the third Tuesday of every month. We get to gather together as a larger group, and we get to bring in the most amazing speakers from the outside world, from outside of our Heat Team, and tonight is definitely no exception. For those of you that don't know me and Chris, you can wave. We've been with the Juice Plus family for over 30 years. It has been absolutely a glorious ride. And I don't want to spend any time on me because I want to give all the time to Stephanie. And, you know, Stephanie probably really doesn't know this, but I've been watching Stephanie from afar different times when I hear her voice, whether it's on Voxer or through somebody else who's forwarded a message, or because she's gotten famous with the Juice Plus Instagram. But when I saw that Juice Plus Instagram, I realized, oh my gosh, it's time. It's time. The rest of you got to meet Stephanie. And of course, Chris got to meet Stephanie at an event, I believe it was in Portland, and he came home just raving about you, Stephanie. So let me just give you a short little introduction, and then I'm going to turn this over to you. So Stephanie's been in the health industry for about 22 years. She's been a trainer, a group fitness instructor, and most recently a health coach. And she's a wife, and she's a mama to 4. She's passionate about helping families create health havens. Don't you love that? A health haven in their home. That's beautiful. She's been through a lot in her own preparation, a personal health journey, and she continues to be, and she's going to share that with us tonight. I like to say, no excuses. You know, we all have things going on in our lives, but if we have the attitude that anything is possible, you eliminate all kinds of excuses. Now, here's fun facts about Stephanie, which I love. She was born in Switzerland, grew up in France, and recently spent 5 years with her kids in Lima, Peru, serving as missionaries, which is where we discovered that we probably lived around the corner from each other in another lifetime, right? It's amazing. She loves Jesus, good food, dance parties with her crazy kids, people, and the beach. By the way, the beach, my #1 place for all vacations and for everything good. So with that said, I am going to spotlight you for everybody, and you need to just unmute yourself. Are you ready to go? Oh, you look so beautiful having come from a game.
Well, no, I'm actually at a game and I'm having parents walk by and like, what are you doing in the car?
Oh, perfect.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I was super excited when I saw Nikki's message. I was like, oh my gosh, she asked me to speak. I mean, you guys probably know this, but maybe because you're on their teams, you guys are kind of used to it. But man, for those of us that, you know, kind of newer NMDs and all that, I mean, they're like iconic. And so I have heard about Chris and Nikki Cotton for years because I'm on Terry Luongo's team. And I'm just super, super excited to be here with you guys tonight. And yes, I did just come from a soccer tryout with my son. It was very last minute. And then now I'm at a baseball game, and that's just my life. And I spend a lot of time in this vehicle right here, but that's the beauty of this job is I get to work wherever I can find a spot. So here we are. I just want to share my story with you guys tonight. And as you guys are listening, I want y'all to actually think of people that might connect to the story. Because, you know, I feel like so many times we hear so many things and you might feel inspired or excited or whatever. But essentially, if there's not really an action behind it, it's just kind of entertainment. And I know you guys probably have heard that. And I don't know, I'm horrible at quoting things, but there is a quote about that. But essentially, I don't want to just entertain you guys tonight. I want you guys to think of people that might connect to my story, because my story is very multifaceted. So I'm going to start back all the way back 16 years ago when I was introduced to Juice Plus at an event. I was a personal trainer. I was working with Holly Morris. We become good friends. And anyway, she asked me to come up for an event. And I honestly was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to be sold? And as soon as I think I'm being sold something, I like tune out. I'm like, eh. So I went to the house, and I'm pretty sure Terry was one of the ones that spoke at this event, but I don't remember because, like I said, I tuned it out. And I don't remember anything they said, except for the very end, they asked a question. I love to interact. You guys will see this with my hands, but I love interaction. And so I said, okay, they asked me a question like, how many fruits and vegetables do you get in a day? And I was like, oh, okay, well, not very many. And this is what I do for a living. I tell people what to eat and I train them. And I could not count on one hand how many fruits and vegetables I actually got. This is the truth. But I mean, I'm like in my early 20s, pregnant with my first, I'm like, whatever, the world is ahead. And so to me, the product made sense from the beginning. I needed it. I knew what fruits and vegetables were. I knew my body needed them, and I was done. So I did this, and I went home and I told my husband, hey, I just bought this product. And by the way, I might have also signed up because a discount is good. And I do things the cheapest way possible. And he was like, you did what? And I was like, well, surely your mom and my mom will order. So whatever. I think they did. I'm not sure, because after that, I did nothing with the business. And this continued on for, just wait a minute, 10 years. Sweet Holly Morris asked me to be on her team off and on for 10 years. So if you have those people in your life that you're like, I know they would be good at this, why aren't they listening to me? Why are they telling me no? Just wait. What I've always said, and Nicole Fletcher said this recently in a video that we put together for conference that y'all might have seen, the We Are video. This business is built for those that stay. And I want you guys to think about that, because so many things happen down the road, because this is all about, it's kind of like the Tower Garden. You plant seeds and then things come later. So this came later. And, but I'll tell you what happened about, 7 or 8 years into her asking was, I was in Lima, Peru, like Nikki mentioned, and we were doing mission work. So obviously we were not rolling in the dough. That's not why you go on the mission field. And she just kept on saying, I want to support you in more ways than what we're supporting you now. And I'm like, I understand, but don't worry about it. And she's like, well, if you just sign up as a Wellness Plus, because you talk to everybody about Juice Plus, you have for years. And I told everybody about Juice Plus for years. I did. I loved the product. I just didn't want anything to do with the business. And so she said, just do this Wellness Plus. It's like, are you like conning me into something? Like, what is this Wellness Plus business? And so found out what it was. She said I didn't have to get on a virtual office. She said all I had to do was the same thing I was doing. I was like, I'm in. If it gets me money, that's fine. So I did that. And I did not get into my virtual office, nor did I even know what a virtual office was. And this happened for a couple years, right before we came back to the States. Well, we came back with a little surprise. His name is Cruz. And I was 6 months pregnant at the time. And we get back and we're like full transitioning from a foreign country to the US. It was like, where have I landed? And I'm pregnant with a child that we were not expecting, but very obviously overjoyed. And I go to have this baby, and I was trying to have a vaginal birth after a cesarean. It's called a VBAC. Okay. We talk about vaginas sometimes on the call, so you guys just get used to it. And so I go to have the baby, and unfortunately I had a full-blown uterine rupture. And if you guys don't know what that is, that's essentially that little thing you sign that says there's a 1% chance that you could die during labor. And that's what it is. And so went into emergency surgery. I was in there for 5 hours. The baby was fine. They were worried about me, but I ended up being fine, obviously. And but after that, we received all these little white things in the mail. They were called bills. And that was a shock to us. And we were like, what in the world? And my husband then said, hey, Steph, I think you're going to have to talk, like, we're going to have to talk about you getting a job. I'm like, and what exactly did you want me to do with 4 small children that we can afford daycare for all these people? And so he said, well, why don't you just do the Juice Plus thing? Like, you love it. You've told everybody about it. I was like, have you been talking to Holly? So I finally said I would do it for 6 months. And that was 5.5 years ago. And through that journey, first of all, I realized that I had a lot of thoughts and ideas and preconceived notions about what this was and who would say yes to something like this. And so I had slow tracked. So remember, I was Wellness Plus. I remember that part. I had slow tracked to an SC. I didn't even know what that was. Holly had hit NMD, didn't even listen to her speech because I was like, I don't know what that is. And so I'm at SC, so I get invited to go to a leadership retreat. And I'm like, how did I get invited to a leadership retreat? I don't know what this is. And for you guys who know what the Pure Hope Foundation is. So that was where I got to go to Selah for this retreat. And so we're sitting there and I'm like, we're 22 other women. And I'm like, this is weird. All you guys want to do this? Like, and I'm still very like, I'll tell people about Juice Plus when I'm not asking anybody to team. Like, I don't even know how this works. And so we're sitting there on the front porch in a swing, and I'm sitting with Holly Morris. And I said, Holly, I just have to ask you an honest question. Like, what is it about this? Like, I just don't want to be known as the fruit and veggie lady forever. And she's like, do you think I want to be known as a fruit and veggie lady? And I was like, well, yes, I kind of do. Because I kind of say whatever kind of rolls out of my mouth sometimes. And she said, Stephanie, look around. And we're sitting on a pristine, like 10,000 acre ranch where this organization is blessing these women that are coming out of the sex trade. And she said, this is why I do what I do, because this is my legacy, not just fruits and vegetables. Fruits and vegetables have been a vehicle for us, for Ryan and I to be here. And I was like, oh, and it was like this aha moment for the first time. And I was like, I get it. I get it. And here's the deal. When you get it, something changes, because here's the deal. I had the same personality. I had the same gifts and talents. Nothing had changed in that one day, except for when I got back in my car for that 6.5 hour drive, I was calling everyone that would answer the phone. And that month, I got 22 new teammates on my team. Now you might be like, oh my gosh, like how? I'm like, I called people. I called a lot of people, a lot, because what changed was what was between these 2 ears. My mindset changed. My idea of what this could be changed. I got confident. I got confident in what this was for me, and got confident of what this could be for my family. And confidence is attractive. And when you are confident in what you're saying and what you're doing, I can guarantee you people are attracted to that. Okay. Because if you're like, hey, I'm just doing this thing. I mean, you don't have to do it. I mean, it's just, you can just do it for the discount. I mean, it's $52. It's not that big of a deal. You don't have to do it. I mean, it's like, whatever, I'll pay for your sign-up fee. That is not confident. Like, come across confident in what you're doing. We have an unbelievable message and an unbelievable product. So be confident. Okay. So moving on, things are good. I make NMD in 2.5 years. I'm having a blast. I love it all. I love the group of people that I've been blessed to be surrounded by. And then last year, literally, Chris, you probably didn't know this, but while I was in Oregon, my biopsy results were in. And my husband actually called while I was there because he wanted to find out that all was good. And he was going to call me while I was in Oregon speaking at the conference or at the regional to tell me that everything was great. And unfortunately, he found out that I had breast cancer while I was gone with our 4 children by himself. And so I got home. The house was clean. The kids were in bed. I'm like, I should have known that something was wrong. And I get into the bathtub and he comes in. He's like, hey, babe, I called the doctor while you were gone and you have breast cancer. And I was like, I'm sorry, you're going to have to repeat that one more time. And I was in complete shock. I say I was in shock, but I will say, the last day that I was there at Terry Luongo's house, she has an unbelievable house there on the coast. And I was walking, there was a storm rolling in. And I've only told a few people the story, but I just feel called to tell y'all. And I was walking the beach with Holly and Terry, and we were going in, and I mean, we were starting to get pelted by rain. And y'all, Oregon rain is no joke. It like actually hurts. And so they were going in, and I said, you guys go in, I'm going to stay out for a minute. They're like, you sure? I'm like, yeah. And I stayed out and I looked at the waves and they started crashing in. And I said, you know what? God, I know I'm getting ready to go through a storm, but all I ask is that you go before me. And my gosh, he did. He did in so many ways. And I will tell you guys, for something that I denied for so long and didn't want to be part of for so long, and dogged it sometimes for so long. Do you guys know who showed up the most out of anyone in my entire life, besides my immediate family, obviously, was the Juice Plus family. Corporate was calling to check on me. people from all over were sending me extra Juice Plus because they know I was taking like quadruple the dose the next day. That's the first thing I knew what to do. I started taking quadruple the dose. They started a GoFundMe account. They sent mail. I mean, I cannot even tell you, Holly offered to read books for me and just give me the synopsis because there was so much that I was trying to take in and learn. And so I went on this breast cancer healing journey last year. And well, last year and forever. And it was absolutely, and do you guys know that a few months before that, I had just changed to the Juice Plus benefits package. And my husband had unbelievable benefits with his company. And we just took a chance. We're like, we're healthy. Let's just do Juice Plus benefits. And I was like, what have we done? And it was the best decision we could have ever made. The benefits have been incredible. I think in March, I stopped paying for anything conventional. And I mean, obviously, I chose to do an integrative route. So we did a whole lot of holistic stuff alongside of some conventional. But it has been the most unbelievable teaching experience. I have learned so much. And I think, you know, our stories, our business stories, our health stories, they're continuously changing. And I talked to someone today about a story, and she said, I don't want to, you know, she was talking about not wanting to be defined by a certain story. And I said, you know what, here's the deal. Do I want to be defined by a cancer story my whole life? No. But in this season, that's how I'm connecting to a lot of people. You get to connect with people on so many different levels. If you have autoimmune disease, if you're healthy, if you're an athlete, if you're older, if you're younger, whatever, you get to connect with people on so many levels, and you have so many different stories. We always talk about our story and our why. And I think those are continuously evolving and changing, because when you're talking to someone, then find something in your story that's connecting to them. If somebody doesn't have cancer, don't use a cancer story. You know, that's not going to connect to them, but find things that are connecting you to that person. I think connecting with people is just so important. There's something in your story that's going to connect to the person that you're talking to. Okay. But I will tell you guys, the company, the marketing plan, everything is set up for your success. And I think that if we, honest to goodness, put forth the effort, first of all, 2 feet. We are all 1-footers so many of the time. So much of the time we kind of dip our toes. We're like, hey, yeah, I'll try this. And if we have new people on the call, I am so excited that you're here, because I hope something in my story blesses you. But I'll gotta tell you, you're going to meet some of the most incredible human beings on this journey, the most incredible community. They will surround you in times of joy, in times of crisis. But your story will develop into, if you don't have a story now, who cares? When in fact, you probably do have a story and you're not even realizing it. Okay. So get someone to help you talk about your story. Why did you join this business in the first place? Why did you pay $52? There's your story. Why'd you pay $52? That's your story. Why did you start taking the product? There's your health story. It doesn't have to be grandiose. When I started taking those capsules at 20, I don't even know, I can't do math, 25 years, whatever. I didn't have an aha moment. I was fairly healthy at the time, so I didn't like feel different when I started taking the capsules, right? But I will tell you that underlying nutrition got me through a whole lot this past year and was a base for some incredible health that I needed to undergo certain things. You have to have a base. And so I want to encourage you guys, think about your story and connect it with people. Connect it with the person you're talking to, because our journey is continuously changing and our story is continuously changing. So don't get stuck on one thing in your story. Secondly, if you're going to do something, even if you want to get your product paid for, then get your product paid for with 2 feet. 2 feet. Because here's the deal. You could do double that. And wouldn't that be fun? If your goal is $500, great. Jump in with both feet. And it could be $1,000. I don't know. But all I'm telling you is go in with both feet and then stay close. Hold on. I actually had my son write this in the car as I was driving. I might be a procrastinator. Huddle in close if you're in the mood to grow. So if you're in the mood to grow, you huddle into your community, you show up, you got to show up. Even if you're like, I can't even get an order. Who cares? Just show up. Just show up on the calls, show up with your upline, and stay close to the upline. I'm telling you guys, when I was making a run for SSC and QNMD and NMD, I was like on Holly's back. Like she was giving me a piggyback ride. And some of you guys might have heard my speech, my NMD speech, and this is the truth. And I was told not to say this on stage, but I think I did because I might be a rebel. I did not know my FIN number when I made NMD. I did not know it. I might know it now. I'm not sure because right now I don't remember it. But there are certain things that I feel like we get stuck on. Like, I got to know everything. I got to be healthy. I got to be this. I got to do before I can. I got to do this, or I got to be this before I can. Well, how about a health coach that is building a Juice Plus empire with breast cancer? That could have stopped me in my tracks, y'all. I could have been like, ugh, what do I say now? Nope. That is not going to dim my light. Do you know that I was diagnosed January 27th and April 1st, I hit 24 club? Because you know what? We were going to grow. And I just hit 29 club last month because we're going to grow and we're going to continue this mission. You can make anything an excuse. I've got too many kids. I've got 4, got a lot. I have another job. I am overweight. I am not healthy. I have chronic disease. I have whatever. You can make anything an excuse for anything, or you can make it your reason. You can make it what gives some fuel at your butt and gives you a push. You choose. And that's what I tell my kids. I told them at soccer practice tonight, you choose. You have a choice to go out there because you only had a 2-hour notice to go try out for these 2 elite teams, and he's never had a tryout in his life. You can choose to go out there and give 150%, or you can choose not to be on the team. I mean, you know, it's one or the other, but use the fact that you want to be on this team to fuel you tonight. That's it. And you just do the best you can. And he might not make that team. And you know what? Who cares? Because he went out there and he did it. And that's the thing, is that we got to get out there and we got to ask the question, because if you don't ask the question, guess what? It's always a no. That's it. And I'm sure y'all have heard this a bazillion times, but I just love it because I honestly feel like that. Like my new people that come in as a partner and they look at what I'm doing, I'm like, don't compare what I'm doing. Don't compare me at all to what you're doing. It doesn't matter because we are on, I'm 5 years in, right? I'm a national marketing director. My time is built doing different things. And so you can't compare. You do you, and you just keep building, and I'll just help guide you all along the way. But you just stay close and you do you, and I'll do me. Okay. There's no comparing. And I feel like there are so many different gifts that everyone has in this business. I mean, it's unbelievable on my team. I mean, from people that they're hairdressers, they get to just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And so they get to talk about Juice Plus all day long, right? Because they're sitting there, they have an audience right in front of them at all times. They can't go anywhere because they're doing their hair. Okay. I mean, I have teachers and stay-at-home moms. I have a chiropractor and nurse practitioners. I have all kinds of people, and all of them bring different gifts to this team. And you all have a gift to this business. All of you, every single one of you. So let me see if I have all my notes, because I honestly want to leave some time. I did 5 minutes. Okay. For a Q&A. If you guys have any questions at all, I'm a completely open book. If you guys want to follow me on Facebook, I have a business page, which is Coach Steph. And then you can follow me on my personal page, or on Instagram, it's Health Haven Coach. And so I just want to bless you guys and what you guys are doing. Be you. Don't try to be anyone else in this business. You be you. Go both feet in. Use your story to connect. Huddle in super close to your upline, to your sidelines, to your downline, and show up. That's all.
Wow. So, other than the fact that some of what you said had us in tears, and you didn't get to read all the things that people were texting while you were talking. But other than that, I don't think I've ever listened to a speaker where I was grinning ear to ear. Like you just made me, yeah, Debbie, right? I mean, just your energy, whether it was really sad story or whatever, heartfelt, That was really amazing. That was really fun for me. So does anybody, I'm going to spotlight you for 1 second, and then you should be able to see, gallery view there. Does anybody have a question? And if you do, unmute yourself. Just go ahead and unmute yourself. Let's hear from you.
I don't have a question, but I just love your energy, and I love your sense of humor and your mild sarcasm, and yeah, you're great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to hear what that conversation was like after you had that realization, those conversations in the car on the way home. Like, what were those like?
Well, I'll tell you one of them because I remember it like it was yesterday. It's kind of the one I always use for an example because she was one of the very first ones I called. Her name was Hannah. And I said, I texted her first and I said, hey, I have something I want to talk to you about. I know it's been like 7 years. This is a true story since we have talked, but I have something really exciting I want to share with you. Can you call me? And so she was like, okay. So I get on the phone with her and I said, Hannah, how are you doing? All the things. I said, okay, I'm going to just get straight to the point. And I said, here's the thing. I don't know if you've seen any of my posts recently, but I've been posting about Juice Plus. And I said, you're a teacher, which means you are underpaid and obviously a servant because you're a teacher. And I said, then you always talk about on Facebook about how sick you are. And so you need the money, you need the health. And I said, so I have both. And I know you don't know what Juice Plus is and you're not on it, but I not only want you to be on Juice Plus, but I actually want you to join my team because I think you would be amazing at it. You're funny on social media. You need the health benefits and probably you need the cash. So what do you think? She was like, okay. And I about fell out. I couldn't because I was in my car, but I was like, really? For real? You're really going to join me? Okay, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're going to totally do this together. That's what I said. That was it.
That's awesome.
So Denise, did that help clarify?
It did. Yeah.
It's all about the energy. It's all about the energy and her confidence. And those are the keys. We always think we have to have the perfect words, the perfect lay down a foundation. And that's called the super direct approach with total honesty and total integrity and confidence.
Like ditch the pitch, maybe?
It's just like, that was great. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? Comments? Something you need?
I want to say, Stephanie, that since nobody's speaking up, that's a perfect example of energy is everything, right? That story shared about 2 or 3 things we tell people never to say.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah. And don't be afraid that if you don't know what to say, I think it's okay to just say that. Say, man, I am new at this. Like, I've never even asked anybody to my team, but like, I really want you on there. And she could feel that I legitimately wanted her on my team. And I told her why, because she was good at social media, because she might need the money. Make it about them. It's always about them. It's not about you. It's about them.
Great job. Thank you.
That was beautiful.
You're welcome.
All right. It looks like we've done it. So what I'm going to say is just real quickly, we have a call tonight. It's the all men's call. Chris Cotton, Greg Black, and Michael Brown, athletes, human performance at 7 o'clock. You still have time to invite. Chris apparently still thinks he's going to shave. I don't know. And the other thing is that next week, our team is going to have our Let's Celebrate Us call celebrating April. So make sure to get your forms in. And now everybody take your, unmute yourself and just shout out the one word from your heart that you want Stephanie to hear from you to her. So unmute yourselves and let's just go for it.
Courageous.
Courageous.
You are inspiring.
Fun.
Gratitude.
Thank you guys so much. That was amazing.
All right, everybody.
You are
Have a
amazing,
great evening.
You're awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Love the call.
Thank y'all.